Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist in Northern Illinois. And welcome to my home. I'm so glad you're here. So, the weather's been beautiful. We've been doing the live streams outside, which is always fun and exciting. And we're still working on that great book, Opportunity by Eben Pagan. And the neat thing is I've started to do a program, a coaching program through him as well. And the neat thing so, that's a big piece of what works in my head is we're all on so many different planes that if we're going to engage with people, we have to engage with people first on the level that they want rather than the level that we think that they need. That's just something to stick in your mind today. So today's topic is, why are you such a lone wolf? So let me give you a little bit of history on me. So when I grew up, I felt very emotionally isolated, very disconnected. And so because of that, I wasn't very good at making friends. I didn't have social skills, and I didn't learn to trust other people. As I've gotten older, I've realized that I have missed out on one of the best resources that are out there, which are caring, compassionate, kind, loving people, especially women. I have found an amazing number of women, when before I used to be scared of having relationships with people or friendships or getting to know women better. And that was one of my biggest blocks. One of the reasons that I was such a renegade or, a lone wolf was because I didn't really think that anybody could resonate on the same level that I was thinking. I couldn't find anybody that talked the way that I talked or thought the way that I thought, who'd been through difficult times and then gained wisdom and understanding from it. I've had to search, far and wide, let's say, to find people, but they're out there. People who can resonate with the direction that you want to go and be part of that great culture that we're creating of people who have had some challenges and are learning how to navigate them. And my specialty is body-mind. How does our body-mind work? How do we function? How do we get ourselves in alignment? How do we work on a physical level so that we aren't just, everything isn't just in our head, that we're in our body? So in Eben Pagan, the topic today, we're talking about being a lone wolf or not being a lone wolf. So I spent decades, most of my life, being that lone wolf on my own and really blazing trails and learning about things nobody else was studying and really stepping out there because I didn't feel I had, any resources or any support. But the neat thing is most of the people who are on the cutting edge like that, they are lone wolves. So if you feel that you're kind of emotionally isolated, that no one's really speaking the same language that you are, except maybe some people like me online, it's good to consider getting to know other lone wolves, getting to know people who think way outside of the box, people who may be in way different areas than you're comfortable with. And this is where hobbies or classes can become really helpful. I learned a long time ago that when I needed to reinvent myself, the best thing to do was to go back to school or to immerse myself in a new culture. That was the best way. If I wanted to get more into healing, then I would start going to healing conferences. If I wanted to change my career, then I would, I'd start looking for classes that supported that. The reason being isn't necessarily the education. When I went to massage school, it took me a long time to find a school that resonated with me, a school that fit my temperament and my personality. And because I knew at my core, I'd had enough education in my life, that I knew at my core that it wasn't what was being taught, it was the people who were teaching it. So I looked very closely for a school that was filled with people who could speak my language, and what they would teach me on the side, in the bathrooms, in the small conversations. And it's the same thing with almost all areas of life. If you know there's a part of you that you want to evolve, that you want to grow, or, hey Jennifer, good to see you. if there's a part of you that wants to evolve or grow, you know you need to work on it. The best way to do it is not on your own. Of course, we all want to hide. We all want to do it, in our safe place so nobody sees what we're working on, so we don't have to admit that, there are areas of our life that we haven't figured out. But if you really want to go to another level of living, you cannot do it on your own. You hit this stage where you realize you're going someplace that you can't create by yourself, that you might not have the skills or the tools to take you to that next level. And this is where finding people who you can collaborate with or talk to, or these cultures or these tribes, this is what will take you to that next level. And it's more than just, let's say a Reiki share once a month. It's when you get together with people for coffee. It's when you invite them over to hear about what's going on in their lives. When you dive deep and really listen to the wide variety of people who have specialized, in themselves and their life, and you find out from them kind of what's their mental model. How do they view the world? How do they view life? You are going to get so much, because what that's going to do is it's going to start sparking things in your brain and associations and memories and ideas. One of the neat things that I've really realized over the past month or so this one's pretty quick. I've always been on dealing with health and wellness. I've always, mental health especially, mental and physical health. That's been a passion of mine for a long time. And so I have become very good at understanding how the body-mind works. But if I want to go to another level, I need to talk to people who are artists, who their focus may be visual, or someone else whose focus may be communication, or someone else whose focus may even be accounting. Because when I get those new ideas in, those relationships, and not the formal networking ones, where we only share what we're supposed to share, but the bigger ones, the ones where you have relationships with people, you talk to them about what they're thinking and their ideas and where they're going. You have those meaningful, deep conversations. And from everything that I'm hearing, we do not have that out in the regular world. We don't have those connections that get us out of our head and into a deeper space of innovation and creativity. If we're going to influence the world in a positive way, we get to a point where you cannot do it by yourself anymore. I had a mentor, my mentor up in Michigan, I've talked about him before, Bruce. And he said, when you take this path, in his mind, he said, when you take this path, it's one of the loneliest paths that's out there, to be a spiritual light or guide in some way. It's extraordinarily lonely because you don't have anybody to talk to. You're talking at this level of communication, of heartfeltness, of metaphor, of ideas, of ritual, of the subconscious and Asian medicine, and you're talking about all those things, and everybody's sort of looking at you like, huh? And so you stop talking. You stop telling people, or you just railroad them and say, you know what, you need to hear this. I don't care what's going on. You need to hear this, so I'm going to tell you. But when we sit down and we allow ourselves communication with humans that we think are different from us, that's how we take things really to that transformational level. We're looking a lot of times as steps. What's the next step I need to take? What's the next thing I need to take? And in reality, when you get lots of things going on at once, there's a synergy that happens. When you come in not necessarily with collaboration with people, but maybe collaboration with new ideas, there's a chemistry that happens that creates something that you couldn't have created just by doing the steps. Just by, doing the next step in the program, it's not going to get you there. What's going to get you there is this innovation, this mental model of somebody else's that you are now absorbing and saying to yourself, wow, I never thought to think like that. And that is one of the most powerful ways to really shift and evolve and transform, is to expose yourself to people and ideas that are cutting edge, who are thinking outside the box. Because even if their answer isn't right, even if their answer is going down the wrong path or is too metaphysical or too out there for you, what it's going to do is it's going to spark something in your head. It's going to spark something new and creative that you couldn't have gotten there on your own, or just surrounding yourself with who or what's comfortable. So the suggestion today is to stop being so strong and stop standing on your own so resolutely. Stop being that lone wolf, and recognize that if you really want to go to a level that's unimaginable, that you could have never pictured before, you need to start listening to other people in all sorts of different areas and engaging with them, especially the weird ones, especially the ones that you go, what are you saying? What are you talking about? Huh? Those are the people you need to listen to the most, because they've been on the cutting edge. They've been out there. They're thinking in ways that you've never thought to think. And even if how they think is way different from you, what it's going to do is it's going to spark and create something new in you. And that's the key. The key isn't what anybody else is doing. Hey, Christine, nice to see you. The key isn't what anybody else is doing. The key is that what sparks a new idea in you, what sparks a new way of living or looking at life or engaging with life, what new information is going to create a chemical reaction in you that takes you to a whole nother level of existence. And that is what we're talking about. So maybe start the engagement with, what people want, the pleasantries, the small talk, but you have this amazing power to then take the conversation down really interesting paths, down paths of thought processes and how people look at the world and mental models and how they got there. Not in a sad, poor me sort of way, but really curious. How did you get here? How did you come up with that idea? What all came together to give you this paradigm? What rules do you live by? I get that every day in my life because of my practice. I chose to add that as a critical, integral part of my practice, is exposing people to my way of thinking and them exposing me to their way of thinking. And this is how we go to these next levels. This is how we become the people we want to become and evolve and make the big impact that we want in the world. Not because we study harder or we're perfect or we're more amazing or we do everything right or we follow the path that other people have laid out for us. It's not because of that. It's because of you and the amazing, miraculous ideas and creativity that will come from you because you expose yourself to so many things and so many people that think differently than you do. There's this idea in quantum physics, and the idea is something doesn't exist until it bumps up against another something. And that's when that interaction, that engagement comes into life. It comes into being. So, hey, Barbara, nice to see you. It comes into existence when an idea you never thought to think comes into contact with the idea that you have. So, if you really want to get unstuck, if you really want to feel better, the idea is to start engaging with people on a meaningful level, on a deep level. And even the person that you think is way off their rocker, and even the person that you think is so boring you can hardly stand it another moment, or is planning on arguing with you. It's nice to see you too, Barbara. Or planning on arguing with you about something. That's okay. You don't have to argue. Your job is to be like, what's your mental model? How do you see the world? And what can that bring up or spark in me? What reality or what beauty or what creativity or new direction or new path will your words and your ideas spark in me? So if you're doing the lone wolf act because you think that everybody around you just can't relate or resonate, well, you're probably right. They can't. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't stop talking to them and you shouldn't stop really being curious about where they come from, because their mind map may never agree with your mind map. But that doesn't matter. It's not about holding our own and protecting ourselves. It's about what can we create that takes all of us, to a vision, to an idea we can't even imagine. We can't even put together because we've been exposed and shaped and molded by all of these different points of view and new ways of thinking. And that's what we're looking at. That's exactly what we're talking about, okay? So your homework assignment today, especially if you tend to be more of a lone wolf emotionally, is to find one interesting person to talk to that maybe you've never had a deeper conversation with before. That one person that you said, you know what, I'm really curious about getting to know them better. Take that moment and get to know them better. You know, I didn't have a lot of friends in high school because I didn't have social skills. And I didn't know how to relate to people. I just didn't get it. And so one of the things that I would do is I reached out a lot. I reached out to people that I wanted to get to know better. And I said, hey, would you like to get together with coffee, for coffee? Or would you like to, sit down and chat for a while? Or I'd love to, I've been curious about who you are. I'd love to get to know you better. Even if it's a chance encounter. That's your opportunity to think differently. It's not to get validated. It's not to, create some amazing soul connection or find your soulmate. Or it's not even to get something. Hey, Kara, good to see you. It's not even to get something from somebody. It's not even to sell them something or get them to do something for you. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with what happens when we put all of these ingredients in this pot and we turn it into a stew. What comes up? What comes to the surface in me that this person is pulling out of me that has been buried or hidden or lost in the background for a while or I didn't even know existed? That's that soul connection. That's that healing of the soul, is when we have parts and pieces of us that come up from the surface that we've disconnected from. And when we reconnect with them by listening or talking or engaging with people who look at the world way differently than we do, that's gold. That's what you want to be looking for, okay? So homework assignment today, find somebody who you're curious or interested about and go and have a conversation with them. Because even the meanest person, if you sit and spend a little bit of time with them, and give them attention, they'll tell you how they think. Even the biggest narcissist, even the biggest, whatever that you know of, when you show them kindness, because a lot of people probably don't because they're not nice people, if you show them kindness, many times they've got this depth and this wisdom that can help you evolve. It's not about creating a comfortable space for you. You have the ability to create that comfortable space within you. You have that ability. You don't need other people to create that comfortable space for you. Your job is to go with the curiosity and an openness and an adventure and an idea of, you know what? I wonder what this is going to bring up with me. This is going to be fun. So that's your homework assignment for today. I hope it goes well. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow. Like, share, love, comment on other people's stuff, because this is how we create something bigger than ourselves and go to that next level. Okay? Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.